welcome back to another Heather Mac Reacts. Today we're going through some Am I the Whole stories, and if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I post 5 times a week, every single week. Now if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into this first Am I the Whole story. This says, am I the whole for not wanting my sister at my wedding since she is in a wheelchair and will take up all of the spotlight? Wow. So first impression is that you're worried about being upstaged by a disabled person. And if you're that insecure, that's a you problem and not a her problem. But let's go ahead and get into the story and see what we think. My sister, 26, has been on and off out of the hospital. I'm going to call my sister Anna. Anna got cancer when she was 15 and was able to beat it. Ever since, she has been having growths, and anytime one appears, we are worried about the cancer coming back. My issue is that she always makes these announcements that she needs to go to the doctors again at the worst times. At the beginning, I thought it was just bad timing, but it has happened so many times when I hit a milestone. My graduations, my birthdays, my engagement party. Anytime she makes an announcement she needs to go back to the hospital, my whole family will flock to her. Okay, I'm sort of seeing a pattern here that's not too fair on your part, so let's hold off on opinions. I have had my birthday dinner turn into my relatives flocking to her for the whole night. I had a dinner party to announce my wedding date for my relatives. It was going so great and it was a fun time until Anna told mom she needs to go back to the hospital. Soon, everyone forgot about the reason for the dinner party and it was quiet. My aunt even stepped in to do a prayer for Anna. Another event was taken over. I went low contact with her after that. Okay, the tides are starting to turn. She was invited to the wedding and it is in 2 weeks. I learned today that she is in an on and off in a wheelchair from my mom/Anna. She will need to take it just in case for the wedding. I asked if the rest of the family was informed and she told me no. I told both of them they need to inform them. They told me they don't want to worry them and won't do that. So they're gonna wait until the day of the wedding to see this girl who already has so many health issues that it's at the forefront of many people's minds, but they're gonna wait until the wedding day to find out that she's in a wheelchair now. Sus. It's sus. I had enough and told them you need to tell them before my wedding, again a no. I then informed Anna that she is not invited. Wow, that was a big decision. This started a huge argument about how I'm a dick, and my point is that I am sick of her stealing the spotlight. That will happen if she rolls in with a wheelchair. Edit, I am going to do a mass blast to all my relatives saying she is in a wheelchair and unsure if she will be able to make it to my wedding. Keep my sister in their thoughts and prayers. I am getting ahead of this. I mean, it's really not a bad idea to do the telling for them, since your sister and your mom seem to want to surprise everyone at your wedding. It's kind of like, surprise, I'm 9 months pregnant. I mean, just like really unfair, really uncalled for. And my opinion has shifted. I can now understand and see why you would want to uninvite your sister after the track record that she has produced. Let's see what the Reddit comment says. You need to sit down with your parents privately and in person if possible. Explain calmly that you love your sister, but that she has been using her health situation to hijack every event in your life. Give the examples you gave us and every single example you can recall. Explain that, like them, you are concerned about her health, but you would like your wedding day to focus on you and your fiance. This is extremely important to you and you are asking them not just to comply, but to back you up on this. Explain that you have asked her to inform everyone of her wheelchair use and she refused. You asked her not to make this one day about her and she is signaling that she will not honor your request. After trying to come to a compromise, you and your fiance have decided that if she cannot stop herself from springing this and continuing to demand everyone's attention at an inappropriate time, like your wedding, then it is best she does not attend. It has been 11 years. Her situation is sad, but it's obvious that she's leveraged it and continues to manipulate everyone. You are not the a-hole. I really could not have said it better myself. I agree that it's clear that this woman is reveling in the attention that she gets from being sick, which is unfortunate, but it does not give you the right to upstage every major event of your sister's. There is a time and place, and why not tell your family beforehand? What good excuse? We don't want to worry them, so you want to worry them on the day of the wedding? Yeah, I see what you're doing here, Anna. I see what you're doing. I see right through you, Anna. Anyway, I say the OP is not the a-hole. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for being excited about my first daughter? I can't imagine why that would be a bad thing. When I am pregnant with my first daughter, because I am putting that into the universe that after having 2 boys, I will get my daughter. We're putting this into the universe. I need all of y'all to think positive thoughts for me, because if I go again at my advanced maternal age and I get another freaking boy, I'm gonna toss myself into the ravine behind my house. Just kidding. I love my boy. I'm sure I'll love my next. I already love my next boy, but I'm sure that I will grow to love him for who he is as a boy. But I just want to dress in tutus, okay? I want to do dance class. I want to do frilly and glitter. Come on, y'all. Okay? Yes, it's selfish, but it's what I want. So anyway, let's get into this story. I, 28 female, am pregnant with my second child. My first child was from a teen pregnancy and is 14 now. My first child was born a boy, but has expressed that they don't feel like they're assigned gender from an early age, 8 years old. Their stepfather and I have always been supportive of this, while still asking questions and engaging in age-appropriate conversations about the reality of transitioning. As of today, they present as female, but are totally fine using she, her, their pronouns. The issue I'm writing about took place this weekend at the gender reveal my in-laws threw for me. Okay, I'm seeing where this is going. It was revealed that we're expecting a baby girl. Having grown up with all boys, brothers, and cousins, I was visibly excited to see pink smoke, so I screamed and jumped in excitement. It's this last part that was brought to my attention by my firstborn as being an issue. They think that it was insensitive of me to be that visibly excited for having a girl, as if I don't have a daughter already, their words to me. Okay, I'm going to be as gentle as I can. The story's not over, but I need to interject. I'm going to be as gentle as I can when I say you didn't have a daughter. You have one now, but you didn't give birth to a daughter. You gave birth to a boy, and you raised that child as a boy for many years. And you may have a daughter now, but I get that it's not the same. I get that it's not the same. I'm trying to put myself into the trans child's shoes and see what I would think and how I would feel in their position, but I just honestly can't. It seems a little bit like they're making it about themselves when it's not about them, but they're also young and transitioning or thinking about transitioning or working towards transitioning just is such a mindfuck of emotions that maybe they don't even know which way is up or down or how to think or how to feel. So, what a tough and sticky situation. While I do accept them as my daughter, I reminded them that for my pregnancy, birth, and the first 8 years raising them, they were a boy. That's kind of what I was getting at. This seems to have pushed them even further away, as now they won't even open their door or respond to my texts. Am I really the a-hole for being excited to be having a baby girl, or is my firstborn just overreacting out of teenage angst? Yeah, I get it. You didn't give birth to a boy, to a girl. You gave birth to a boy, and for 8 years you believed this child was a boy. And the fact that they're not doesn't erase the first 8 years. You can't just go back and say, oh yeah, I gave birth to a girl. You could say, hey, this boy all along was a girl, but that doesn't change your memories. That doesn't change how you lived for 8 years. It's like, growing up thinking that your dad's your dad, and then you find out that, through a paternity test, it's not your dad. That doesn't take away from the fact that for all those years, your dad was your dad. You can't turn back time and rewrite history, is kind of what I'm getting at. Oh, what a crappy situation for everyone involved. Let's see what the Reddit comments say. Not the a-hole, but you will need to watch. This could easily turn into a jealousy issue. Oh, you did this for the baby, not me. Or you are spending more time with the baby than me. Given the fact you had a baby at 14, there is no way you are going to have the same experience growing up. Maybe remind your 14-year-old that you had her at her age. It's just not the same as having a baby at 28. I will say that a well-rounded and mature child will not feel, a well-rounded and mature teenager will not feel jealous of a little baby, okay? I will tell you that from personal experience. I was 13 when my sister was born. I was 14 when my brother was born, and my mother was in a much different place. With me and my brother, she was with my dad, who she was married to, but that didn't last very long. And when I was 5, she officially left him, but things were rough and rocky and sometimes like abusive before then. So it wasn't a good childhood. And then we were basically raised in my grandma's house with 2 aunts who then started having kids. It was a very full house. We were kind of shoved aside. We were the oldest. We were expected to take care of the younger ones, even though we weren't that much freaking older than them. And, you know, we had to sacrifice a lot. We had to sleep on a freaking pull-out bed for years. Then we just decided to start, and mind you, I had to sleep like next to my brother at like 10 and 11. Like it was uncomfortable, you know? And then we decided to just stop pulling out the bed. We would just sleep on separate couches, but we had no personal space and yada, 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 yada. Then my mom meets my stepdad. I mean, I was still like 6 or 7 when she met him, so I was still young. And then they decide to have kids. And these kids get rooms of their own, brand new rooms, brand new carpets, like cute drapes. Like even at 13 and 14, I was not jealous, but I was envious of my little sister's bedroom. But I never blamed the baby and I never blamed my mom because different circumstances were happening. It's not like we had the same dad and the same upbringing and the same experience and they were just treated better than I was. That is not the case. And so I never held it against them. I was never, I could say that I was maybe, again, I would call it envious because I wished that I had had a similar childhood to what they had, which was 2 loving parents in the same house, stability, dinner on the table every night. Like I didn't have that growing up. It was chaos and it was tough. And that's not my mom's fault. That's not my siblings' fault. And so I was never jealous. I never held it against anyone. But I can say that I was envious. But I was a mature 13/14/15-year-old. So if they are mature and level-headed, they won't hold it against them. Let's just hope for the best. Next comment says, absolutely not the a-hole. Recognizing and addressing potential jealousy issues is crucial. Open communication is key. Remind your 14-year-old that your experiences are different and that your love is not divided but multiplied. Emphasize the uniqueness of each family member's journey. It's an opportunity for growth, understanding, and building a stronger bond. I totally agree with that. I hope that you and your older daughter can come together as a team to help make this new baby's life better, because I mean that's what parents always hope for their children, right? That their children's lives are better than their lives. And that's what I had always hoped for my siblings. They're not a full generation difference than me, like a half generation, but I just always was happy that they had a better upbringing than I had. I hope that this older daughter can feel the same way. Anyway, I think the mom is not the a-hole. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for publicly announcing that my aunt tried to use me as a child to get back at my mom? No, I think you should get the sneaky snakes out of the dark shadows and shine a light on them, but that's my opinion. Let's see what the story says. I, 19 female, look just like my late maternal grandmother. She died when my mom was only a child, but she died leaving her husband and oldest daughter deeply traumatized by her behavior and her death. Her younger daughter, my aunt, was too young to remember her or anything about the life she gave her family. My grandmother did a lot of things that's left its mark on the family, and my mom especially. To add to everything else, my mom is the one who found her mother at just 8 years old, so she has always carried that around with her. Yikes, that's deep and dark already. I only found out I looked just like her mother when I was 6, and my aunt told me I was just like her mommy, and she was showing me all these photos she had, and the childhood ones really showed the resemblance. My maid, she made a big point to tell me every single similarity we had. My mom never made me feel like I wasn't loved or like there was something wrong with me. The only reason I knew something was up was because she wasn't able to hide the sadness in her eyes when she looked at me. I also did some snooping when I was little, and I heard her tell my dad about the struggle she had some days to see her mom's face in me. My aunt decided to use me to hurt mom. When I was 12, she brought me to get my hair dyed behind mom's back and pushed me to go blonde when I wanted pink hair. Turned out my mom knew their mother was a blonde. I realized that when I saw my mom's eyes after seeing me with blonde hair. That was the point where I realized what my aunt was doing. What is the purpose behind this? What are you gaining by torturing your sister? I'll never understand that, y'all. I'll never understand the toxicity between family and siblings. I really don't. I mean, my brother, who's my full brother, me and him really don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. He's just a completely different type of person than I am. But I still love the guy. I still would never do anything malicious to hurt him, and he would never do anything malicious to hurt me. We both want the best for each other. We just don't see eye to eye politically or economically or whatever, but that doesn't mean that either one of us are bad people or dislike the other one. We just dislike the other one's views and maybe ways of going about things, and definitely the way we vote. But like that's okay. Like, we don't have to agree on everything to be family and to want the best for each other. It just means like we're not best friends and we're not talking about all these sort of things, and that's okay. There was other stuff before then, like she'd buy me clothes that were similar to what their mother would have worn. My aunt had a bunch of photos of her mother, so she knew the stuff she liked to wear. She gave me a nickname as a little girl and got me so into it, I tried to use it with everyone. It was a nickname my grandmother was given some people in her life. My mom really hated that name. I heard her tell Dad later that night. Why? What are we doing here? My mom adored my aunt and thought they were super close. So when I did realize what my aunt was doing, I made sure to tell her I was on to her and wouldn't be trusting her anymore. She did attempt to do some more effed up stuff, but eventually I told my dad and he told my aunt to leave me the F alone. We didn't see her for years during COVID or after, but then Grandpa's birthday happened just before New Year's, and she approached me and tried to manipulate me into doing the same stuff, change my hair and how I dress, etc. I told her I knew what she was doing, and she laughed at the idea of it being to hurt my mom, so I lost my temper and made sure everyone heard what she had done when I was a kid and that she was trying to do it again. My dad and some other people were forced my aunt to leave, but not before she told me I was such a bitch for spoiling the party and publicly humiliating her. Am I the a-hole? No, she's evil and psychotic and vindictive, and I don't have any more words. What is the point? What are you getting out of this? You're getting pleasure from torturing your sister? What could you possibly be gaining from this? And you did it when your niece was a young girl, and then there was a stop put to it. And then you just picked it up years later. You were like, ooh, I get her back in my grasp. Let me try to manipulate her some more. For what? Ma'am, you need some serious psychiatric help. Holy moly. Yikes. Okay, definitely not the a-hole, but let's see what Reddit has to say. Not the a-hole. We need to normalize shaming people who try to manipulate people to hurt others. Also, social media is a good way to get the truth out. Shine a light on those sneaky snakes is basically what they're saying. Next says, cutting horrible people out of one's life should also be normalized. Snip, snip, bitch. Aunt's behavior is heartless, to put it lightly, and absolutely psychotic, to put it honestly. Yeah, I mean, what is wrong with you? What has possessed you? Oh my goodness. Okay, I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole because I intentionally let my partner sleep in for work? Y'all, I've been there. I've thought about it. My husband used to be really bad at waking up for his alarms. He's narcoleptic, so waking up isn't always very easy for him. He would set alarms, but he would set like not a good ringtone, you know, like a soft one, a quiet one, or the same one over and over again for months or years. And it would just like bleed into his dreams and he wouldn't even hear it anymore. And it's like, bro, change your alarm. You know what I used to do for myself? I used to work as a phlebotomist, and I was a float phlebotomist, meaning I would get assigned this lab or this lab or this lab. It could change every day. I could be there for a whole week. I could be there for 2 weeks. I could be there for 2 hours. It really just depended on where they needed me. They just sent me there. And I had to be awake because quite often I was the only one opening that lab rather. And so I downloaded an app that made you do math problems in order to turn your alarm off. Now, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest and say those math problems were set too easy because I can't do math when I'm wide awake, let alone when I'm sleeping. It would literally be like 7 + 11, okay? But they would make you do like 3 to 5 math problems before you could even like snooze your alarm. And it helped me like wake the F up, okay? I've also been known to download alarm sounds that sound like the purge is coming, okay? Not specifically that sound because that's terrifying, but I mean like honking, blaring, loud, obnoxious sounds because I needed to be woken up. My husband would just play do, 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 do. Ain't nobody waking up to that, especially not a narcoleptic who likes to sleep through his alarms. So I've definitely thought about letting him sleep in and be late for work. I usually don't do it because, you know, we pay bills together. So if he gets fired from his job for being late all the time, that's going to screw me in the end too. So I'm really not proving any points here, but I've thought about it. Anyway, let's get into the story. Me and my partner have been living together for 2 years, and for some reason he can't get up in the mornings. He will set multiple alarms, about 7 or 8, and will turn them all off and sleep right through. I feel like I'm getting PTSD from this. Oh my gosh, especially now that I'm pregnant, it's not as easy for me to fall back asleep sometimes. So when my husband sets alarms and he just snoozes and snoozes and snoozes and like 5 or 6 of them go off, I'm like, if you don't wake the fuck up and quit keeping me awake, I'm gonna beat you. He expects me to nudge him awake, and I hate doing this because then he will say, I'm up, while lying in bed, slowly falling back asleep until I nag him to physically get up. Yeah, like I get it. Like it's not my I've done this with him before, and we still have this issue, not necessarily with waking up. He's somehow become better at that, but an issue we have is he has a CPAP machine, and often, again, narcoleptic, so if he's laying in bed, like he could just fall asleep and be in his REM cycle, whatever you want to call it, within minutes and just be deeply asleep. He will forget to put his mask on, and then he'll be snoring, and not only is it snoring and waking me up, but it's also not healthy for him to be without his CPAP machine when he knows he needs a CPAP machine. And so I will have to wake myself up to wake him up. And there has been times where I've gotten really mad because I'm like, wake up and put your mask on. And he's like, okay, yeah. Wake up and put your mask on. Okay, I am. And then like, he'll be like, why do you have to be such a bitch? Well, you left it to me to be responsible for you. So now you're getting the version of me that you're getting. If you wanted to be responsible for yourself, then I wouldn't have to intervene at all. And then I wouldn't have to be a bitch. But you forced me to do this. You woke me up out of a sound sleep while I'm freaking pregnant and trying to get all the sleep I can before this freaking crying ass newborn gets here. And you just want to be difficult. So I feel it. This happened for almost 10 minutes, and by the time I'm fully awake and exhausted, all the while he's grumpy and giving me shit for nagging him awake. Yeah, been there, felt that, sister. I warned him I wasn't going to wake him up anymore. This morning I heard the alarms, let them ring through, and just covered my head with a pillow. He slept in by half an hour and was furious that I let him sleep in for work despite hearing the alarms. Was I the a-hole? Sounds like he's a grown-ass man with his own goddamn job, which means he is responsible for getting his own goddamn ass up. I mean, really, like, yeah, you want to have to fight with him every morning to get him to wake up for his own goddamn job and his own goddamn alarms. Like, no, that's not fair to you. And oh my God, I've dealt with this so much myself. This is hitting close to home. Like I said, my husband is better at this now. He doesn't often work early in the morning anymore. He'll maybe do like one opening shift a week. He's usually closing. So he wakes up with me and our son and like we have breakfast and stuff. But yeah, no, I've definitely been here. I've definitely felt this pain. So I get it. And I feel for her, and she's not the a-hole. There's an edit. Additional context if needed. He goes to sleep by 10 p.m. and has been late for work multiple times before, as well as missing multiple appointments, outings, and plans. Our Alexa plays full volume alarms as well as his phone, 2 devices. Despite my protest, he will constantly snooze Alexa through all 7 alarms in 15-minute intervals and continue sleeping through the phone alarms because they don't seem to do anything. He also previously had a smartwatch making 3 devices, but it was too easy for him to shove his arm under the pillow or press the off button. I bought some earplugs and an eye mask, but I'm still stressing because the alarm brings me anxiety if I hear it because I know he will be late. This is just so unfair to you. Like, no, you're stressed about his job, about his responsibilities, which are not your responsibilities. Definitely not the a-hole. He needs to learn some consequences ASAP. Let's see what the Reddit comments say. Not the a-hole. He's responsible for himself and his job. You're not his parent getting him ready for school in the morning. He makes a conscious choice to skip his alarms. Making sure he was ready in the past was a kind gesture that he wasn't entitled to. I totally agree. He's lucky that he had you helping him at all. And the fact that he doesn't have you helping him anymore is his goddamn fault. Next comment says, honestly, fuck him. My parents almost never had to wake me up for school. Maybe when I was little and alarms weren't a thing, but after getting my first phone, I always got up myself. Not gonna lie, sometimes my brother had to wake me up for high school, but that's because he wanted a ride. And I wasn't a dick about it. I actually got up when he came in my room. I didn't fall back asleep or give him shit. I was like, okay, I'm up. Which, I mean, you know, he still didn't owe me, but at least I wasn't giving him shit for it. Last comment says, yes, this guy sucks. She doesn't even have to be up. A normal person would try to minimize their partner's disturbance instead of, if I have to get up, so do you. I guess he was unemployed until OP became his 8th alarm clock. I mean, freaking sounds like it to me. Anyway, I would like to know what you think about that one in the comments. Don't forget, we have a playlist of over 225 Am I the A-hole videos up here that you can binge. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!